All right, today we're diving into something really special. It's a fascinating and totally fictional lost manuscript called The Unmended Stone. It's imagined as this undiscovered work from 1962 by a great American poet, and let me tell you, it offers an absolutely profound look at the things we build and why they matter so much. And right from the get-go, it pulls you in with this line. You can immediately feel the poet coming back to a familiar idea, a theme they've wrestled with before. But something's different this time. This isn't just about fixing a wall anymore. No, this is about seeing that wall and maybe everything it represents in a completely new light. So that's going to be our journey today. We're going to explore how this incredible manuscript takes something as simple, as earthy as a stone wall, and transforms it into this powerful symbol for connection, for our relationship with nature, and for the kind of legacies we all hope to leave behind. Okay, so the first big idea the poem really gets into is, well, what's a wall even for? It kind of forces you to stop and rethink the whole concept of drawing a line between things. And get this, it takes that famous old saying, you know the one, good fences make good neighbors, and it just flips it right on its head. It asks this really provocative question. What if the breaks in the fence, the gaps in our boundaries, what if those are actually the most important parts? And this is where that new idea just beautifully unfolds. The poem is telling us that these gaps, they aren't failures that need to be fixed right away. No, they're invitations. They're a reason to finally talk to your neighbor, to ask to borrow a tool, to actually share some work. It turns an act of division into a catalyst for community. It's brilliant. But it doesn't stop there. The poem goes even deeper, because this isn't just about how we connect with each other. It's also about our fundamental connection to the land itself. So you look at this old, crooked wall, and you have to ask, right? It's clearly not following some surveyor's straight line on a modern map. So what kind of logic is it following? What are its rules? And the answer the poem gives is just, it's beautiful. The wall follows a logic that's so much older and deeper than any property deed. It's in a constant dialogue with the landscape. It respects the natural contours of the land, the path that water takes after a rain, even the way the deer walk through the woods. It's tuned into these ancient paths. And this is where we meet the guy who first built it way back in the 1840s, a fellow the poem calls Old Martin. And he's presented as this wise character who he got it. He wasn't trying to conquer the land or force his will on it. He worked with it. His craftsmanship was a true partnership. And then there's this moment in the manuscript, wow. They find this message carved right into a stone near the brook. It's just so moving, and it perfectly crystallizes that idea of legacy. Old Martin wasn't just building for himself. He was building with this incredible sense of responsibility to the future, for people he would never, ever meet. So the key insight here is that the physical work, the labor itself, it builds something so much bigger than a stone wall. It builds human connection. Let's dig into how. You know, the poem makes this wonderful observation about people. When we're working together, when our hands are busy, it opens up a totally different space for conversation. The really deep, honest talks about life, about our choices, where we belong, they don't always happen face to face. They happen side by side, when we're focused on a common goal. And this is illustrated perfectly through the story of old Jake Morrison. He has this profound moment of clarity of finding his place in the world. And it doesn't happen on some grand adventure. It happens right there, just mending a wall with his father. It just shows how that simple, shared labor can ground you in a powerful sense of purpose. And this kind of wisdom, it's not something that just fades away with the older generation. Oh no. The manuscript makes it very clear that it gets passed down. We see the narrator mentoring a young boy named Thomas, and not through lectures, but through patient teaching and just doing the work together. And we get to see this whole beautiful process unfold. The boy, Thomas, he starts by just watching. Then he starts sorting the stones. He starts asking good questions. And bit by bit, he learns what the poem calls the hidden architecture of the wall. And of course, that's a metaphor for a much deeper understanding of craft, of community, and of the world itself. All right, let's pull all these threads together now. We've talked about connection to people, connection to the land. So in this last part, let's look at the big picture. What does this manuscript really say about building a lasting legacy? To me, one of the most profound ideas here is that the purpose of what we build is never really fixed. It evolves.
Old Martin built that wall to keep his cattle in, a simple farming need. But now, it serves nature. It guides deer on their paths and gives shelter to wildflowers. It has adapted to completely new needs.
And you can really see that evolution right here. In 1847, it's just marking property. By 1962, it's an ecological guide. And looking forward, its main purpose becomes something else entirely, holding memory. The memory of the land, the people, the shared work, the whole story. And here it is. This is the philosophical heart of the whole manuscript. Building for the future doesn't mean you know exactly what that future needs. It means you do good, careful, honest work in the present, and you trust that that work, that effort, will find its way to being useful, maybe in ways you could never have predicted. So in the end, that unmended stone wall is so much more than a pile of rocks. It's a living document. It's a record of human effort, a conversation happening across generations, and a powerful, powerful symbol of what a partnership with the land can really look like. And the manuscript doesn't end with a neat little answer. It ends by leaving us with a question for all of us. As we build our own lives, our families, our communities, we are constantly faced with this choice. So, what are you choosing to preserve? What's worth mending? And what are you ready to let go?